What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. But before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic and that the player ratings and potentials may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. You don't have to follow all the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions on what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those of you out there who may be new to the game and just want some help, or for those of you out there who may be stuck for ideas on what players you could sign for a certain team in career mode. So in today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys, we are going to take a look at Borussia Dortmund. Yes, I was due to do them last week, but due to the disturbing events that happened in Germany, I decided to postpone it for a week, and I thought I'd do them tonight, as they are playing tonight as well, in the second leg of their Champions League quarter-final tie away in France against Monaco, and they're going to need to score at least 2 goals tonight if they are to go through, and I thought, why not do a Borussia Dortmund Who to Sign For like I planned last week tonight. So, Borussia Dortmund then, that's the team I'll use today. They're a 5-star team. What are their objectives? Well, you see them on the screen right now. They have got to win the league title in the first season, which is a very, very tough aim considering how strong Bayern Munich are. Reach the quarterfinals of the Deutsche Pokal and also reach the semi-finals, the stage they're aiming to get to tonight, in the Champions League. They got a £42 million budget as well, and you'll see the team in the squad report and the team management screen in just a moment's time. So, can they do those 3 things? Well, definitely yes. There's no doubt about it. This is a really, really good team. Again, it's a 5-star team with some really good players. Aubameyang, of course, their striker, Marco Reus on the left-hand side. They got a defender I really rate who you just saw there in Socrates. It's a really, really strong team, and one of the best things about Dortmund's side is that just like in real life, they're a team that are building for the future. You know, there's some really, really good young talents in this side. It's got a nice mix as well, some senior players in there too that are pretty useful as well. But there's a lot of young talent in there. You know, Pulisic, Dembele, more 3 players. We just went past the squad report right there. Just signed Isaac, the young Swedish striker as well, who I've heard a lot of good things about too. It's a team with a lot of decent young talent, and I would definitely say those 3 objectives are definitely hittable in the first season. It'll be tough, mainly to outmuscle Bayern and be crowned champions of the Bundesliga, but it is definitely doable. And they set up in a 3-4-3 in the game as well. That's their lineup, or well, I sort of like altered the lineup to make it as strong as it could be in the default formation, and yeah, it's a pretty decent team. Now, as for contracts and players that are currently out on loan, pretty basic with Borussia Dortmund. Normally when I show this, there's quite a few things to do. With Dortmund, not that much to show you. One player with a deal that come the end of the year, that's Roman Weidenfeller. A bit of a Borussia Dortmund icon, but I wouldn't give him a new deal personally, as he's in his mid-30s and no longer number 1. And also 3 players that are currently loaned out right now. Neven Subotic, the Serbian, Stenzel, a defender, and also Adrian Ramos as well, currently on loan at Granada. Now, personally speaking, I wouldn't say no to recalling either the Serbian and also Ramos as well. Recalling them both and then looking to sell them, or if you don't want to sell Subotic or Ramos, then keep them out on loan, or just bring them back and use them for squad players in depth in the bench or in the resis. My personal opinion though is bring them back and try and sell them, although I actually forgot to recall Subotic, which was kind of funny, but I did recall Ramos, put him straight on the transfer list and aim to sell him straight away, as let's be honest here, he's 30 years old, 78 overall, a very decent striker for a backup striker role, and with Dortmund I'd say that's the main area to look for a new signing, the striker role, but I would look for someone younger, just bring him back from his loan spell. It'll cost you about $500,000, and then look to sell him for a few million or whatever you can get for him. So I sold 3 players in the air with Dortmund then, and it was kind of funny as well. All 3 bids for those players that I sold came one day after the next. First Ramos, then Park Ju-ho, and then Şahin. I thought that was really, really weird, but eventually Ramos and Park Ju-ho went to Hamburg for a combined total of around, what was it, £10.5 million I think it was, and Nuri Şahin went to Nice for, again, £6 million I think it was. I always forget, and the text is so small I can't really read it on the screen, but these 3 players I recommend selling anyway, especially Ramos. And again, for signings for Borussia Dortmund, where would I look for? Well, the striker role, I would say, should be their main priority. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, bruv, they've got Isaac, who's a really young talent. Aubameyang's their out-and-out striker. You know, in the game, they will be playing with a 1-striker formation, a 3-4-3. Why buy a new striker? Well, Dortmund, year after year, do have a lot of interest for their key players and often do sell them and then look to replace them. And if Aubameyang is not going to stay at Dortmund with you for a long period of time, you'll need someone to step step in straight away. And even if you're not going to do that, you might want to switch to a 2-striker formation or just have someone better for the bench than what you've currently got right now. And my number one recommendation would be this guy right here, Andrea Bellotti, or Bellotti, I should say, of Torino, an Italian striker, 22 years old, 23 in real life, I do believe, 82 overall already with 89 potential. He'll cost you around 35 to 40 million pounds. I got him for 35 million pounds. But this guy in real life is tearing up the Serie A. Now, I think he's got 25 goals this season and is the joint top scorer of the competition. Feel free to correct me if that's wrong. My knowledge of the Serie A is not actually that strong. But this guy, regardless, I know for sure, this guy, regardless, is having a remarkable season. He has got a lot of interest from a lot of big clubs, and it's no real surprise they're sniffing around the 22-year-old because this guy really is tearing up the league. He's been absolutely fantastic this year, and I would say he would be a great signing for Borussia Dortmund. Again, you're spending, the majority of your original budget on the guy, around 35 to 40 million pounds, but when you look at his stats already at just 22 years old, physically, look at how well-rounded he is. There's not a single stat which doesn't have at least light green. There's 4 dark greens in there, including 85 strength and 82 sprint speed. The guy really is a physical monster. He's going to become even better as well because he's only 22 years old and has 89 potential. He already has 86 finishing. He would be a great signing, and in my opinion, even if he's just going to go on the bench in the first season and you're not going to play Aubameyang on the right side of midfield or switch to a 2-striker formation or just have him as your number, your first choice striker if you will, then he's still going to be worth the money because he'll be a really, really good deputy for Aubameyang and a great signing in my opinion. But as for other signings with Dortmund, well, I had to wait until I got the season ticket boost in terms of the budget here as well to pull off my second signing. Florentin Tolisso, who I've shown a few times now in this Who to Sign For series. This guy, just like Bellotti, physically is really, really well-rounded, and he's such a versatile midfielder. You're probably spending around 23 to 30 million pounds on the guy. I picked him up for 26 million pounds from Lyon, and again, my initial bid was rejected, so I had to wait ages until I got my season ticket boost so I could get a little bit more money to sign him. It'll cost you around 50 grand a week on the wages as well. He's 22 years old, like Bellotti though, 81 overall, and like the Italian, does have 89 potential, so grows 8 ratings, and he will be a great signing. And just like Bellotti, you might not want to throw him in the first 11 straight away. You might want to, but even if he goes on the bench, he's adding depth, he's adding cover, and he's getting, you're getting more quality in that area. He's a really, really great player. And again, just like Bellotti, look at these stats, both physically and mentally and technically in Tolisso's case as well. Only 4 yellows. Every other stat in the physical, mental, or technical department is light green or better. Now, that is unbelievable. That guy can play deeper, further forward, or just in, through the heart of midfield. He would be a great signing, and in my opinion, for Dortmund, a really great acquisition. So 2 players brought in there, and a lot of money spent on just those 2 players. And after that, you might not have much money left, if any left at all. But if you do, I wouldn't say no to a new wide midfielder. Now, they've got some decent young talents already, but this guy can also play through the middle as well. Charlie Musonda was the guy I targeted, a left midfielder by trade, 19 years old, valued at 6.5 million pounds. He's a really, really decent young Belgian player as well, and also he has the holy grail of skill moves and weak foot, which is really, really rare. One of those, really rare players to have this 5-star skills and 5-star weak foot, and he's also got 86 potential as well. This guy is a really young talent, a really, really good midfielder, and without question a signing I would recommend making, because even though you won't exactly need him in the first season, he's certainly someone you'll have long-term plans for, especially with those 5-star skills and weak foot. He's adapt playing on either side of midfield, can play through the middle as well. He's got some great stats already. He's very quick, 89 acceleration, 87 sprint speed, also has 83 balance and 92 agility as well. Love that. And already 83 dribbling as well. 76 overall, has the flair trait, good work rates, high and medium, and again, the holy grail, 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. I would definitely recommend him for a Borussia Dortmund career mode. You won't have to spend much more than valuation for him either, as he's not valued too highly at Chelsea. Sporadic first-team player is his squad status, so you should be able to get him to close to his base valuation, and he'll be a great signing as well. I also made one more signing, which you don't really need to do. You don't need to do Musonda either, but I just did this because I thought I had the money left over, so why not? Mile Svila, who I think I've signed in a record number of episodes. He's becoming the new David Alaba, I think. He cost me, I think it was £900,000 to get, because like an idiot, I didn't have a full scout report on the guy. But he's only 17 years old, starts off 63 overall. You might think, what's the point? Well, Roman Weidenfeller, you won't give him a new deal, which means that you'll only have 3 goalkeepers next season, and 2 of the youngsters aren't really that good with any good potential at all. You might want someone as a long-term deputy, if you will, for Roman Berkey in goal. And this guy with 83 potential grows almost 20 ratings. You can put him on really low salary for 5 years on future first team player squad status. He'll never complain. He'll grow quietly in the background, and on 5 years on a really cheap salary, it's just worth doing. You may as well get him whilst he's cheap, just so you can grow him nicely in the background as a reserve goalkeeper who will eventually become your second choice in a few years' time. So again, you don't really need to do that by adding the money, so I thought, why not, right? So yeah, Svila was my fourth and final signing then, and those are the 4 players I brought in for Borussia Dortmund. So in the end, we spent £69.4 million on just 4 players, and also raised £15.5 million on selling 3 players. And when I do these episodes, usually I totally change the squad straight away. Well, with Dortmund, I didn't decide to do that. Just added a little bit more depth, a little bit more quality, and also reduced the wages as well. And the reason being was quite simple. I'm sort of playing to what Dortmund do in real life. They tend to sell on a few players here and there, but also look to buy younger replacements that have got some decent potential. And that's exactly what I decided to do. Players who may not go in the first 11 straight away, they might do. I had Tolisso in the first 11, but they're players who will grow nicely in the bench or in the reserves, add depth to the team. And again, this team is good enough, in my opinion, to hit all 3 objectives without any changes whatsoever. So you just improve the team slightly. You're just improving your odds of hitting those 3 targets in the first season. So as per normal, we would simulate to the end of the season, see how the team would get on. And as you could see, they would hit the league objective by winning the title with 65 points, drawing 14 of 34 games. What a weird league table this was come the end of the season in the Bundesliga. Bayern finishing in 3rd place, 1 point behind both Dortmund and Hoffenheim, and Dortmund tipped Hoffenheim to the title. So the league objective was met. However, I will be honest, we failed both the Cup and the European objective. In the Deutsche Pokal, we were supposed to reach the quarterfinals. We were knocked out by Hertha Berlin, who lost the eventual winners, Borussia Mönchengladbach, in the semis. We got knocked out in the round of 16 on penalty, so a failure in the Cup and also a failure in the Champions League as well. They were supposed to reach the semi-finals of the Champions League, and in the end, just like the Deutsche Pokal, were knocked out in the round of 16 stage by the eventual finalists, Paris Saint-Germain. So yeah, it was a failure in the league. Sorry, I should say it was a failure in the Cup and in Europe as well. But the league objective was met, winning the title. And I'm pretty sure if you were to ask the Borussia Dortmund fans, would you take a league title but a failure in the Cup and Europe in terms of reaching a higher round? I'm very confident they would say yes. Bayern Munich have won the last 4 Bundesliga titles. The year before that, Dortmund won. So it's been a while since they were crowned champions of Germany. And now Bayern are going for their 5th straight title, which, let's be honest here, does look pretty likely they are going to claim. I'm pretty sure the Dortmund fans will just be satisfied knowing they've finally got one over their rivals in the league for the first time in several years, and that season will be good enough for the fans' sake at the very, very least. And when you look at the squad as well, after the first season, improvements all round from Musonda, for Belotti, also Svila, the young goalkeeper, and Tolisso as well. I think all 4 of these signings will be really, really good, 2 of which to go straight in the first team, either in the first 11 or on the bench, and the others for the future as well. You're building a really fun Borussia Dortmund side for the future, and I would definitely recommend this team for a career mode as well. A great stadium, such a great fan atmosphere, a really strong rivalry with Bayern Munich as well. They're in a top European league too, and they're a 5-star team with some good young talent already. I think this would be a really fun team to do a career mode with, as they are certainly a team who I would say one of the most, underrated teams, I think, in Europe. They don't sometimes get considered as big as a club they are due to Bayern's dominance in Germany, but they are a really, really good team, and I would certainly recommend them for a decent, fun career mode. But that will end today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do leave a like. Much love to you all. Enjoy the football tonight. Enjoy the Champions League games, whichever one you decide to watch. And I shall see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon. Bye.